So in today's video I'm going to show you how to make this sprinting mechanic with a stamina bar. So step 1 is to open up your player character. On the event graph we're going to make this for the sprinting mechanic. So you want to get a custom event and name that sprint on, and get another one and name that sprint off. From sprint on you're going to get a branch, and out of this branch you're going to get a greater than or equal to node for a float. Then from the top one for this greater than or equal to, you want to drag it out and promote to a variable and name that stamina. You're going to want to compile and then click on your stamina, and on the right side you want to set your default value to 100. From there you then want to get your character movement from here, so you drag and drop this here, and then from there you want to drag it out and type in set max walk speed, and then what you're doing here is basically setting your max walk speed to your sprint speed. So you want to put a higher value here than your current max walk speed in this bit on the character movement. Then from there you want to get a boolean. So to create a new variable we want to go down here on the left side and plus variable, and then it should already be a boolean, but if it isn't you can just go up here on the right side and change its variable type. So once you've made your is sprinting variable, you'd want to drag and drop this on your event graph and set it, and then we're going to be setting it to true, as if you activate the sprint on custom event we are setting our sprinting to true. Then for our sprint off custom event we want to copy and paste our set max walk speed here over here, and then we want to set our max walk speed back to our default value. Your default value is whatever is on your character movement in your under the character movement walking here. Now that we've made our events for sprinting on and sprinting off, we're going to create an event to check if we are sprinting. So now you want to create another custom event and call this stamina check. From this stamina check we're going to get a branch and get our is sprinting variable and use that as the condition. For our false for this branch we're going to drag it out and get another branch, and then from the condition of the branch we're going to get a greater than or equal to float node, and out of the top of this we're going to get our stamina variable, and we're going to check if it is greater than or equal to 100. If it is not equal to or greater than 100 we're going to drag out false and set our stamina. Then we're going to drag out from the set stamina in the input area and get a clamp float node. You do this by just right clicking and type in clamp float. Then on the value for the clamp float we're going to drag that out and get a float plus float node, and then in the top of this we're going to put in our stamina, and then we're going to create another variable by dragging out the bottom one and promoting to variable, and I called this stamina in rate, for short for stamina increase rate, and this will just increase the stamina by a certain amount of value basically, which I've set to 0.4. Then for the minimum and maximum value on this clamp float node you want to set the maximum to 100 and leave minimum to 0. Back over at the start of our stamina check event we're going to do the true side of the branch now for is sprinting. So first of all, if we drag out from true and get another branch, we're going to use this branch to check if we have not enough stamina. So for the condition we're going to drag it out and get a less than or equal to float node, and out of the top we're going to plug in our stamina and leave the bottom value as 0. If we don't have enough stamina and it's true, we're going to drag out from true and get our sprint off custom event. You can do that by just dragging out from true and typing in our event name, sprint off. And now for the B output of our flip-flop node, we're going to get another branch, and for the condition of this branch we're going to get our is sprinting boolean. For the true of the branch we're going to get our sprinting off custom event, and for the false of this branch we're going to just plug it into this top branch here. And that's about everything you need to create the sprint toggle. Now for holding down sprint, you want to get your input we got earlier. You then want to get from the pressed a branch, and for the condition of this branch we're going to get a less than or equal to node, and then for the top we're going to get our stamina, and then the bottom will be just 0. And that's about everything you need to know for the sprinting mechanic. If you want to know what some of the variables do, please stick around for a bit longer. If you don't care what they do, then please like and subscribe if you found the video useful, and I'll see you later. So for the sprinting on a fin, we have a branch checking our stamina here. This basically checks if the stamina is greater than or equal to 40, and if it is, we can then sprint. This is just to basically make it if the stamina did decrease all the way down to 0, the player would have to wait a certain amount of time before they can sprint again. This check here just checks if we are sprinting or not, and this check over here checks if we do not have any stamina. If we don't have any stamina, it turns the sprint off, and if we do have stamina, it will decrease the stamina. Then over here we are checking if the stamina is at max. If it's not at max, we will increase the stamina. And for this bit, we are basically checking if we have enough stamina to sprint, and the second one checks if we are sprinting to see if we want to turn off the sprint or not. That's why we, from our false here, we go into this branch, because we want to check if we can sprint, if we have enough stamina to sprint.